Sometimes the biggest changes happen so quietly that we almost miss them. Have you ever felt those moments when you look around and notice that the world you've always known is changing, is shifting, very quietly, almost unnoticed? So if I talk about myself, I've always been a big time coffee lover and I loved going to these coffee places. And I didn't just enjoy the warmth and taste of the coffee, but also the conversations with the person serving it behind the corner. I really enjoyed the conversations with familiar faces every day. So before going to work, I would always order my regular and we would chat. It was more than just a coffee, it was a routine, a connection. But the issue here is that it's all changing now. That person is gone now. The chatter, the warmth, the conversations, it's all replaced by a machine. And I do get my coffee every day, that's not changed. But the soul of that place, that's missing. That's the real issue. Now this made me thinking, and I can't help but ask myself one question. Is this how the future is going to look like? A world where technology does everything for us. From the factory floor to the office cubicles, the jobs we always knew are dying. Now the question here is, will yours be next, or will there won't be any jobs in future? Now we like to think that we might be in another era of revolution, just like the rise of the internet, the invention of smartphones, or maybe some industrial revolution of the past. But this time, it's different, it's huge. We are actually witnessing the foundation of work being rewritten. And we are not even realizing it, but we are actually witnessing the slow death of the traditional 9-to-5 jobs. Now this raises some big questions. What will the scenario of work look like in the next 10, 20 or maybe 50 years? Will the value of job change? What skills will actually matter in the future? And most importantly, how do we prep ourselves for a world where the rules are still being written? And if you are watching this video, you are probably someone who has sensed this change too. Someone trying to look for the answers, trying to stay ahead. And that's exactly what I want to explore with you today. Where this shift started, where it's leading us, and most importantly, what you can do to survive in a future that's closer than you think. Because ready or not, we need to accept that the world of work is changing, and it's high time that we figure out what comes next. Now to understand this whole concept, let's put the reverse gear first. Almost 40,000 years back, when the work was not rooted in mobility and exchange. Success wasn't about promotions or salaries, but it was all about living life, hunting, keeping our stomachs full, and ensuring the survival and well-being of our tribe. Then around 10,000 years ago, something remarkable happened. The arrival of agriculture. People began planting crops, settling down and building villages along the rivers. Work now became tied to the land. Communities started growing stronger. Families started working together during the harvest, sharing all the labor, anxiety and the reward. And despite all the changes, community and togetherness still remained the heart of life. Work was about growing together as people, as groups and not as individuals. And now let's fast forward a bit. Meet Alex, a farmer. He works hard and has multiple tools to make his work easy. But what's surprising is this. Alex has up to 150 days off every year. Between religious holidays and Sundays, he could rest, reflect and spend some valuable time with his loved ones and also do things which he loves doing. In fact, the hunter-gatherers worked around 1,000 plus hours per year. The medieval peasants worked around 1,600 hours per year. Now compare that to the modern worker who works around 1,800 plus hours per year. Something has changed. We have traded time for productivity and for efficiency. Just understand, this traditional idea of work, the concept of a 9-to-5 job in exchange for money, is a very recent invention, almost 200 years back. And now what we think of as a normal career to have, a fixed 9-to-5 work day, the very recent invention that reshaped the way we live, that we finally adapted to, is changing all over again. We had to adapt back then and we have to adapt now. But the most concerning thing in all this is that this time the change is happening at a pace that humanity has never seen before. Usually all these big revolutions have taken ages and generations to come and finally fit into the picture. But this time, the shift is happening at a pace as we talk. And just as we adapted to the Industrial Revolution, we now are adapting to the digital revolution. Because we have to. Algorithms are learning and updating. Machines are not just working, they are thinking, they are creating, they are evolving. Technology is evolving very rapidly. The skills that we develop today might not be relevant in the next 5 years. The languages, the software that we learned today might become redundant very soon. But this transformation brings the million-dollar question with itself. Can machines and humans work together and be the two sides of a coin? Or will they replace one another? Now, according to World Economic Forum's report, in 2024 itself, almost 20 million jobs eradicated due to AI and automation. And I'm not just talking about the factory jobs here. I mean, that's understandable. But AI has impacted bank, healthcare, education, almost every segment we know. And as per the McKinsey Global Institute report, by the end of 2030, almost 375 million jobs can end globally. Imagine almost each and every individual will have to rethink about their future. So imagine a job where you're simply following the routine tasks like data entry, data analyzation, inventory management and customer service. Now understand that AI can do it faster, better, without any supervision and without getting tired. So AI will replace such jobs at a very rapid pace. And the jobs that AI cannot replace easily are the ones that involve high authority, judgment and trust. Now, it's not that only humans can perform these tasks. It's just that we as a society are still not ready to entrust these tasks completely to machines. For example, doctors, judges, leaders. Now understand, AI or a machine can very easily detect any problems in your body and can also very easily analyze any cases, evidences or legal documents, maybe better than a judge. But still, we as a society are still not ready or prepared to delegate the entire medical supervision and judicial rulings to a machine. So basically, AI won't be replacing these jobs but would actually enhance their capabilities to do that task efficiently. Now, AI would definitely help doctors with more accurate diagnosis and providing personalized treatment. But the final decision would always be entrusted with the doctor. Similarly, AI will help judges with faster case analysis and legal documents. But the decision of sentencing, interpreting the law and providing the final judgment would always remain in the human hands. But what's the worst mistake we can do here? Falling a prey to the ostrich effect, which basically means ignoring the danger in the hope that it would eventually go away. Just like we underestimated the innovation of internet and the concept of smartphones. But the truth is that only those survived who constantly updated themselves with these big technological shifts. And today we are in that exact same situation with AI. Now we aren't really at fault here. We as humans, we are psychologically built to resist change. But we need to understand that ignoring change won't prevent it from happening. It just leaves us unprepared. Now the question comes how we can prepare for this future. Now to be on the right side of this change, I need you to start doing these 3 things today. Number 1, get in early. So you don't have to wait for the technology to be perfect. Remember, history has been an example that only those people who jumped in early and learned the technology as it evolved survived. So don't let yourself think that it's just overhyped or it'll go away. Remember, the best companies were built during these huge technological shifts. Tools are accessible, courses are accessible, opportunities right now are vast. So even if you ever thought of starting a project, a business, a startup, trust me, now is the time. So jump in early. Number 2, choose your environment wisely. So if you're planning to switch to a new company or start working for a company, you need to check if they are upgrading themselves with technology and embracing these new tools or not. Or they are also just in the hope that this wave would go away. Now the biggest example of this can be Nokia and also the people who thought that BlackBerry would never fail to Apple. So be around people who are not just using AI but who are great at using it. Trust me, you need to work with a company that embraces change rather than resisting it. So I'll say that again, you need to choose your environment and your company wisely. Number 3, become an active user. So many of us don't put our hands into these new AI tools only because we feel that it's way too complex, that artificial intelligence in itself is a very heavy thing and it's only relevant for the tech nerds. But in reality, it's not. It's actually important for all of us today. So you need to jump in and start experimenting. Invest in them. Trust me, they'll turn out to be your biggest asset in the future. So you need to start being proactive in it today. So if you guys like this video, do put a thumbs up and share this video to your friends, and especially those people who are still resisting this change or are living in denial, so that they can start securing their future today.